Hello there, YouTube. I am Necrostevo, and it is time for a new season, a new draft. Here in 2026, the horrors of the world continue, but we will persist. And if I can bring you one moment of calm and entertainment that will distract you from everything that is happening in your life, then that means that the shadows have succeeded. In week 1 of the NBBL, again, this is a low tier league, so our week 1 opponent is none other than Vinny, the coach of Kirim Country. Vinny's team is Pelipper, Overquill, Floatzel, Shaman, Fortress, Rhyperior, Mismagius, Hukentera, Dashbun, Avalug, Hukentera, and Delphox. So as usual, we have our work absolutely cut out for us. Now, who did we bring to this battle? Well, we have a few different teammates here. Up one, we have Kilowattrel. With its speed and heavy-duty boots, it will serve as a great pivot to get in and off the field. And I put Volt Absorb on it, just in case I need to come in and absorb a Volt Absorb from the Fortress. After that, we have our pretty much dedicated lead GitchxCity with Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Energy Ball, and I think I ended up switching Psychic Noise actually. So the idea there though is just I can hopefully just get up the rocks and damage something with GitchxCity and make it easier for our Swords Dancing cleanup squad to do something in the back. So we have Swords Dance Bisharp, Swords Dance Lycanroc, and Swords Dance Breloom, all in the back, all ready to put down some damage. Now, that is the general game plan, so let's see what happens in the battle. Alrighty, so we are here getting into the battle, and my computer screen is frozen, so I can't see the recording. Man, it is tiny. Oh wait, no, it's here. It's just really tiny. Alrighty, let's see what Vinny is bringing to the battle. We can see that Vinny has Rhyperior, Avalug, which is Terra Electric, Delphox, Floatzel, Pelipper, and his Fortress. So, unfortunately, I did not see quite the combination of mons on his side that I expected to see. But, with all of our Swords Dancing action, all I have to do is make sure that the Fortress and the Avalug are sufficiently damaged, and then something like Kilowattrel can very easily clean up. Terra Avalug, interestingly, is a very nice wall for Kilowattrel, but expecting him to bring the rain, that's exactly why we put Weather Ball onto our Kilowattrel. With the rain up, that Weather Ball move will turn into a water type move. And of course, being boosted by the rain, Kilowattrel is a great special attack. It's going to do a lot of damage to Rhyperior, trying to swap in on the electric or the flying move, Avalug, and Fortress shouldn't swap in anyway because it can get hit by the flying or the electric move anyway. Now, the other Pokemon that I didn't mention before is our Araquanid. This is just an offensive Araquanid. Against a rain team, of course, Araquanid is a great defensive pivot, but I can get my sticky webs up, and I can also just keep on throwing off water type moves. That would be Stab, boosted by the water bubble, and then again by the rain. Araquanid will be living his best life. And so that is the reason we have Araquanid here too. Vinny, prepare yourself, and let's have a great battle. I was very pleased on the lead matchup to see Rhyperior here, because that means I can just go for my rocks, I can go for Energy Ball, I can really just take my time here. I do decide that I want to go for Energy Ball because of the aforementioned issue with so many physical attackers. Unless I'm in a situation where Breloom or Lycanroc are in front of the Rhyperior, I just want to make sure that it's in range of something for later. He gets up his rocks right away, and while that is annoying, that is exactly why I put heavy duty boots onto my Kilowattrel. Now here I do get up my own stealth rocks, but I do it as he brings in his Fortress. Now, friends, enemies, ladies, gentlemen, and those in between and not on the spectrum, this is going to be the biggest thorn. Can a bagworm have thorns? I don't think so. I guess they kind of just collect whatever's near them. But This Fortress is going to be on the field so much and be so annoying this whole battle. So first off, I bring in my Araquanid here, expecting him to just go for Rapid Spin. But he gets up a layer of Toxic Spikes. When I say that I had Swords Dance, Toxic, Heal, Breloom before I swapped it to Technician, oh my goodness, I was so annoyed seeing those Toxic Spikes. Because while I do a great amount of damage to the Fortress with my Surf, the leftovers is going to be handling that damage and mitigating it a fair bit. Toxic Spikes are on my side of the field, and I have to contend with the Stealth Rock. And because of how I was expecting him to bring other Pokemon and be more offensively pressured here, I didn't really bring any removal. Now he has gotten rid of my Stealth Rock, and so we're just going to set up the Sticky Web. He goes for Volt Switch, and I was like, oh man, I could have brought in my Kilowattrel right there. But that's okay. We're just going to go for the Sticky Web here. It would have also been acceptable to go for Surf again, but I figured he would probably go out to Pelipper at this point, which is why I went for Sticky Web. Now I needed to know if the Pelipper was offensive or defensive. When you're looking at a Pelican and you're just out in nature, you don't know if it's an offensive or a defensive Pelican. Most of them are very passive and very defensive, but occasionally you encounter a very aggressive Pelican. So we make a little bit of a mid-offensive switch to Kilowattrel. We get the Hurricane coming out, but it does not do that much damage. With the Rain up, this does mean that my own Hurricanes will be doing a good amount of damage. And it also means that, again, I needed that Weather Ball activated. So here I honestly made a poor play. I should have just gone for the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt would have done more damage to Avalugg. And if the Rhyperior swapped in, I could have just Weather Balled it afterwards. But Volt Switch was very annoying because now I don't really have a good pivot in on Avalugg, and Avalugg can very easily carry Body Press, and so I bring out Bisharp in order to minimize the entry hazard damage that I'm taking right here, but I'm expecting that he's just going to Body Press or Iron Defense up. So I go for Low Kick expecting him to Iron Defense, and that is what he does. And my good golly gosh, this sucks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. He can just recover up, and with Terra Electric, I don't have a good way to damage him. So he does go for the recover. I could have also stayed in Swords Dance, which would have offset his Iron Defense, +2 defense, +2 attack. But again, that's a zero-sum game because then afterwards, I'm still in the position of having to take a Body Press or something. Now I brought in Kilowattrel, but the weather ended. The rain ended as I brought in Kilowattrel, which number one means that the Pelipper does not have the Damp Rock. Number two means I'm forced to go for Hurricane and hope I confuse him, which I do get a Hurricane Confusion into Confusion hit. Now at the point where you are using a resisted move to hope for the chance of the status, working in your favor, we call that being, it's a water team. So I'm going to say we call that being hosed. Yes, I believe that that's a really good way to think about it. I do not want to take an ice move, and so I go out to Araquanid here, hoping that he's going to go for the ice move. We take the entry hazard, we take the poison damage. If I can stay alive somehow, I can go for Surf, but no, he does break through the confusion that time, and he knocks out my Araquanid. And maybe I should have saved it. Again, I don't have that many special attacking moves on this team. I have the Kilowattrel, I had Surf on Araquanid, and then I have Energy Ball on my Yuxi. My next strongest move is going to be Breloom's Close Combat here. I could have gone into Lycanroc, but I really needed it for basically everything else that he had on his team. So I didn't want Lycanroc to take the damage if I could avoid it. So from this range of HP, if I crit him, I can KO him. But I am going to bank on the confusion and go for Swords Dance. Because I'm Life Orbed and I'm poisoned, I'm going to be taking a lot of damage every single time I attack. So I get lucky once again, and he smacks himself in confusion. Normally this is where you would say stop hitting yourself. That is not what I will be saying, because a +2 Swords Dance, I could have KO'd him. I believe I got a low damage roll there, unless he's like max defense. But I could have KO'd him right there. Also, he could hit himself in confusion again. No, he just goes for recover. Now, if you're counting That is 3 recovers, and I've thrown off 1 hit, and I'm basically at half HP as well. So once again, we have to attempt the Life Orb boost at close combat. I need to KO this Avalugg to even have a chance at winning in this battle, and we did even less damage than last time. So, unfortunate. And maybe he'll just KO me while he's at low HP or hurt himself in confusion. No, Avalugg taking the close combats finally gets his stuff together, stops hitting himself, and he recovers once again. So I am whittling away the recovers, which is nice, but this is not how you want to do it. You don't want to just keep throwing Pokemon against a wall, literally, and hope for the best. A crit would have done it here. Him hitting himself in confusion 2 times in a row would do it. But unfortunately, with all of my lowered defenses, Rapid Spin is enough to KO me from there after using close combat twice. And this also means my Sticky Web is gone. So yeah, we're down 2 Pokemon, and I have nothing to show for it. Whereas he still has all 6 of his Pokemon, and he has Toxic Spikes and Stealth Rocks up against my team. Not where you want to be, and this is looking very, very bad. But we persevere. That is the theme for this battle. No matter how many times this Rhyperior comes in with its armor, we persevere. We go for those Hurricanes, expecting the Rhyperior to come in. We do not get the confusion this time. But hey, I believe we're 2 for 2 on Hurricanes outside of the rain. That's kind of a victory, I'll be honest there. But that's my win con here. I have to hope for confusion, or I have to hope for crits because of the Pokemon that he has. Not wanting to take a possible rock move, I go out to Yuxi. We take that beautifully because we're basically bold with a whole bunch of defensive investment. And I could go for Energy Ball here. Now, the issue with that is that obviously the Fortress could come in. So I was like, okay, if he stays in and tries to hit me, I can get on my rocks and then maybe U-turn on the Fortress. Or maybe I should try to paralyze the Fortress as it comes in. I elect to go for Stealth Rock after thinking about it for 50 seconds. And there were no damage calc to run. It's just, do I try to set up my rocks, or do I try to paralyze the Fortress and again go for hacks? When I put Thunder Wave on the Yuxi, it was more to take a hit from the Floatzel and then slow it down in the rain or something like that. Not to be in this position. So here, I did expect him to maybe Volt Switch, but again, the safe play is just to always Rapid Spin and get rid of those rocks. So he removes my rocks again, and I bring in Kilowattrel again. I could go for the Volt Switch. I could do it, expecting him to switch into something, but I'm expecting the armored Rhyperior to come in again. So I was like, I have to go for Hurricane. It'll do the most damage to the Fortress, and if Rhyperior comes in, I might be able to KO it. Rhyperior was below 25% of its HP before the leftovers, I believe. So Rhyperior comes in, and because he got rid of my rocks, this Hurricane is not going to KO him. And the damage that this long game was doing to my morale, it was intense. Because I could just go for the Weather Ball here, but because he has leftovers, it might not KO him based off of the Hurricane damage and how well he took the Energy Ball too. So I decide to go out into my Bisharp, hoping he's going to go for Stone Edge. He also could hit himself in confusion, but that would not be warranted. I can't rely on that. And he does get a crit on the Stone Edge, but Bisharp with the Eviolite takes it very well. So I was like, okay, I don't know if he's going to let me KO Rhyperior. I could Swords Dance in his face, but if he does that, I will die to an Earthquake. He ends up just hard swapping out to the Fortress, and so my Iron Head does nothing. I would have loved if I had Swords Dance right there, because I could have Swords Dance, hope that he didn't have Body Press, because we know he has Toxic Spikes, Rapid Spin, Volt Switch, and I don't know what that last move is. So if it's not Body Press, then Bisharp is actually a pretty good answer to the Fortress. But since he brings it in like this, I am forced to switch out once again. And of course, not wanting my remaining teammates to get poisoned by the Toxic Spikes, that's the other reason I'm not going into them right now. He goes for the Volt Switch here, and that means I could have brought out Kilowattrel and gotten the health back. But I thought for sure he'd go for the Body Press there, which is why I went out to Yuxi. On the plus side, this means I can get back on my rocks, but man, I have not made any progress in this battle. This has just been, it was like Season 1, Stop Hitting Yourself, followed by several episodes of the Rhyperior Fortress show, where we just swap back and forth, and because of the team that I brought, I can't really touch them. Delphox comes out, and it looks like I have a good opportunity to live any hit from Delphox, so we're just going to try to Thunder Wave it. I also could set up my Stealth Rocks here. I'm thinking that because he was so adamant about keeping them out of here, that the Delphox does not have heavy-duty boots. But the Shadow Ball just cleanly knocks out my EXE, which means that this is an offensive Delphox for sure. We don't see Life Orb, and so I'm actually thinking, oh, is it Expert Belt? Is it, Specs? Like, it could do a few different things here. Now, wondering if the Delphox is locked into Shadow Ball, I do decide to go for a more offensive approach here, because I can go out to my Kilowattrel and throw off another Hurricane. I could also try to Volt Switch in case he tries to swap out, thinking that he's going to expect me to just throw off Hurricanes, because that's 90% of my game plan here, is to Hurricane and hope for confusion hacks. He does switch out, which is amazing. What's not amazing is that he goes right back into the Rhyperior, and if I had Hurricane there, I would have KO'd it. Granted, I would have needed to hit the Hurricane. But now he's about in that range that he was before when I used Hurricane and it didn't KO him. But you see how quickly I picked my move there? That's how done I was with the trying to figure out and posture and position. No, we just clicked the Hurricane, we hit the Hurricane, and now we finally have that wonderful thing that I like to call not a 6-0. Now, whenever you're going into battle, you need to play to win. You should not go into battle going, well, if I can knock out a Pokemon, then I won't get 6-0. No, you play to win, which is why I was doing all the confusion BS earlier. But I will be honest, after how annoying this battle has been thus far, and my prep not being a good fit for the amazing team that Vinny brought, I was very happy for this not to be a 6-0. I believe I got 6-0'd right at the start by Who in the other league that I played in with OG Albina. So, yeah, not a 6-0. I don't know what's up with the Victorian Shadows. I usually lose my first battle of the season. And I don't know why. It probably has something to do with aerosolized, toxoplasmosis, and I walked by a cat, and so I can't think properly unless I draft a cat. I don't know. But I normally lose that first battle of the season. That's never my intention, but it seems to be what happens. Anyways, after our Pokemon goes down, we do end up back in the situation against the Fortress once again, and once again I had another opportunity to just Swords Dance up there. Low Kicks does nothing to Fortress. I think he offset half that damage with his leftovers. But you can see me waffling around there, and I was like, okay, I think he's just going to attack me now, so I might as well try to do something. I think he's going to body press, but he goes for Volt Switch again, and that means I could have gone out to the Kilowattrel again. So, very annoyed. I brought Kilowattrel with the Volt Absorb because of the Fortress. Also, Miss Magius, I kind of thought maybe Terra Electric, and so I could have taken those hits and been immune to them. But I was never actually in that position. So, annoying all around. Now, with my Eviolite here, I actually thought, okay, I'm pretty sure I can take any hit from Pelipper. So we're finally going to Swords Dance up here. So we go for our Swords Dance. Pelipper is going to probably go for the Water-type move. Now, the Rain's up, Surf comes out, and I get KO'd. I believe that was a high roll, because at the time, I was like, there's nothing Pelipper can do to KO me. Yeah. So we're down to our last Pokemon, which is a Life Orb Lycanroc. We've hit every single Hurricane we've gone for. We might as well hit a Stone Edge. There's nothing that I can do here. I could also go for a Cell Rock in case I'm worried about, something silly. But here, we go for the Stone Edge. It doesn't even kill. Probably a max HP, highly defensively invested Pelipper stays alive. So we get 5-0'd by Vinny in Kyurem Country, and that is a very dark start to our season. Again, our teammates, Nova and Lens, they depend, of course, on us, the Shadows here, to win, because we're on a team. So if we want to do well later in the season, we need to win now. So this is not the start that I wanted. This is not at all how I wanted to go out. I will say, Vinny, that was a damn good team. And I absolutely hated that, because all you had to do was make the safe plays and maintain the defensive positioning. So I brought the wrong team to that matchup for sure. Bringing 5 physical attackers against a Terra Avalugg probably was not the play. But based off of what he drafted, I definitely thought there was going to be a little bit more variety to the defensive backbone. But all he needed was a physical backbone. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Happy New Year, because I guess I haven't said it, because this is probably the first thing that I'm uploading this year, if I had to guess. I will not be doing a team breakdown. I will just be uploading these when I feel like it. Maybe I will tell you all what all I drafted. But right now, it's all just about the vibes. We're just going to do this as it comes, because my editor is not feeling well, and so that means I am the one who will be editing and doing the stuff. So you all will take what you get, and you will enjoy it just as much as I enjoy you being here. Thank you so much for watching my battle narration today, and I hope that you have a wonderful night. Goodbye.